Hi everyone and welcome to Club1 episode 5 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So we've just been through the January transfer window, most of it anyway, with Limavady in Northern Irish's third tier. It's been really difficult, to be honest. We haven't really been able to do much. I've tried, but nothing has really worked and the finances of the club aren't great. Today, we play Newington in the league. It's about time we turned around a little bit of poor form, so let's see how we get on. Welcome back to Limavady. So before we get going, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and come and join my United City community if you're enjoying what I put out currently here on YouTube. Click a like button on this episode. That's going to help me get seen by more people. But let's do this. Let's get back into Limavady. It's been really tricky. We've had a January window where we've lost a reserve goalkeeper and bought a reserve goalkeeper in on a free transfer. Other than that, I tried. I had probably half a dozen properly serious opportunities to try and get a few new players in, and they just didn't work out. Other people came in and nicked them in a higher division from me, or some of them didn't want to eventually come to me at the end point when we've negotiated some terms. There's all sorts of reasons in there. The finances of the club aren't great. You can see we're in the red in terms of our overall balance. We've got zero transfer budget. We've got a little bit of wage structure to play with. But even those free transfers, any decent one that I found that could potentially improve the quality of our squad just went elsewhere. It was really, really tricky. And so the only thing that we ended up doing, if we go and have a look at the transfer history, is we lost one reserve goalkeeper, Connor Brown, who wasn't very good. And we brought in another reserve goalkeeper, Josh Dunn, who is a little bit better here and there, but still not very good, because that's just the level that we're playing at the moment. So that's where we're at in that. In terms of our form, it's not been great through January and a bit of December since the last time you and I were together. You see, we've been on this really bad run of form that stretches back right the way through to sort of mid-October, really, where we were drawing and losing too many matches. We then actually picked up one win in our last outing at Banbridge. So 2-1 in the league there. Just managed to get us a little bit of glimmer of hope. We're still in contact with everybody in the league in terms of the teams above us, etc., but we need to start picking up points. And we've basically now got the run in. It's only this episode against Newington, and we'll come back and play tomorrow. The episode will be the last game of the season, really. And we'll see what happens between times as to where we finish off. Competition page wise, you can see that we're pretty much out of everything, and it's just the league that we're focusing on. We sit in 7th out of 11. You can see that we're on 19 points, and the top in the table at the moment, Dollingstown, are on 24 points, having played a game less. So we're not going to get right up to the heights there, but if we can finish in the top 4, I'll be relatively happy with that as a first starting point. And today, against 5th place Newington, taking those 3 points is going to kind of be vital to that. So let's see how we get on. So in this really poor run of form that we've had, I've thought about changing the formation, the style of play and all that kind of stuff. And what I have done is I've kept the shape, because you can see those relationships are just beginning to build through the team. So I didn't want to take those away as much as I could. But ultimately, I have changed a little bit of the style of play. We're in a positive mentality. If we go in and have a look, you'll see that we're trying to work down the wings a little bit more than we have done. We're playing a little bit more direct on the front foot, a little bit as much as we can be, really. In terms of in transition, we're dropping in when we've lost the ball, trying to be a little bit more of a hard unit to figure out for the opposition, and we're counter-attacking once we've got that ball won again as much as we can. Again, down the flanks, that's the plan. Get some crosses into the box. The other thing that we've changed in the last couple of games, and it worked in the last match, is that we've just squeezed the play a little bit. We've gone higher up with our defensive line, but brought the attacking line lower. So we're going to work as a bit more of a unit, as a team, moving forward and backwards, really. And we're not pressing as much as we have been as well, trying to reserve some of our energies for actually playing with the ball and getting it further forward. It worked in the last match. Whether it works in this one, at the level of football we're playing, who knows? The inconsistency here is quite remarkable. But for today's game in the league against Newington, away from home, we're going to go with Wells in goal, Devlin at right back, McKeever at left back, McMullen and Watt in central defence, McCallion and Harkin in central midfield, King on the right, Tolland on the left, and Pomeroy and Coleman up top, with a bench of Grimley, McIver, Dugan, Brennan and Mullen. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So, having won our previous match, we've gone ultra positive, really, and I've pumped the fist and I've said, I really want to win every match. Today is no different. Let's go and do this. Get some positivity in there. Push them forward to keep going now that we've got a little bit of momentum from that last match. We've got to try and find a way to keep that going if we can. So let's see how we get on in this particular encounter. Hopefully, we're going to dominate the ball a little bit, get it out wide, get some crosses in early, get our couple of strikers on the end of them and get a couple of goals and go home happy. We'll see. Doesn't always work out that way, does it though? But so far, early stages, early highlight for us in the first minute of the game, and we've kept the ball really nicely, probed a little bit in a couple of different sort of areas of the pitch. And then the highlight goes. What was that? It was a bit of passing. That was the highlight. That doesn't bode well for the future of the match, does it really? But now it's Newington on the ball, and they've gone very direct over the top. Was he onside? I think he probably was, but we'll have to wait and see. But that was just a good ball over the top. They didn't faff about at all like we did in the previous highlight, did they? They really didn't. They just carried on regardless, put it over the top for Hume to run onto, and he puts the ball in the back of the net. And I don't think there's an issue there. We'll see on this particular highlight whether there is. He's way onside. It was just a good ball, a good run. The defence just, again, didn't follow the guy in. They didn't do their jobs, and that's a real problem for us. Early goal for them after 4 minutes of the match. We had that magnificent highlight before, of course, where we passed the ball around a bit. Corner comes in for us on this occasion. Misses out the near post, which is normally where we get some headers in. Gets a header in from the top of the 6-yard box instead, more centrally. And the goalkeeper claims it. Goes long. We regain it in the defensive area. And again, we give it away. We went straight down the middle. Now, what we're looking for is, you've seen on my team instructions that we're supposed to be doing what Newington are doing here, going out wide and getting the balls in the box. And so far, we haven't seen too much of it. But here's a chance with King down the right-hand side. Some good ball movement, and we got it up the pitch, got it out wide, put the cross in. Pomeroy was on the end of it. And that's what we get. That's what we're looking for. Exactly that. Some really good work from Coleman, who dropped in from that striking position to hold the ball up. King was in support down the right-hand side. Got a very good cross. Top of the 6-yard box again. Glancing header from Pomeroy. And he puts it into that bottom corner. And we go back to 1-1. And it's exactly what we're looking for. What we're not looking for is an immediate highlight for Newington to get back in the game. But Devlin wins the ball back for us. That's excellent play by him at right fullback. And we send it back to the goalkeeper just to maintain possession. There's a ball out wide. Doesn't quite work for us, but it was a good attempt from the goalkeeper. And Newington come back at us, switching the play from left to right. But in so doing, we intercept the ball again. And we drop it back into our defensive area. And again, go straight over the top, or the attempt was to go over the top into that striking position from a more central position. And it didn't really work out for us again. What we're finding here is, one, we're 2-1 down because a good cross came in and caught me by surprise and eventually was headed in. McAllister on the ball, drops it back to Thompson, hooks the ball with his right foot, and Logan with a really good run, and he got the run and leap on the defender, who was a bit more static, and put it in. But yeah, I don't know what I was going to talk about before that now. It's been kind of thrown out the window. 14 minutes in, we are 2-1 down, and we are not controlling this game as much as I would like us to. I mean, we've had more possession, but not as many shots at goal. And again, it's a highlight for Newington down in this corner. We again win the ball back, but only very briefly. We keep giving the ball straight back to them, and they're making it work for them much better than we are with the slightly lesser possession stat that they've got, that was a great shot by Hume, just over the top of the bar. They're making more of what they've had. And that's a little bit disappointing. Free kick for us, a long way out. Is he going to shoot? He is going to shoot, but the goalkeeper saw it coming. It was miles out, and in the end, it was a very easy catch for the goalkeeper. Again, the defender had a chance then to trap the ball and control the ball and try and get the ball down a little bit and then take a moment to see what was coming, and chose not to. Just tried to clear the ball. Didn't go well. And again, they're in. But again, on this occasion, the goalkeeper sees the ball and claims it nicely. But yeah, we're just not quite doing it in possession, are we? And you can see that they're controlling the game a lot in their midfield and their defensive area. They've got some good ratings through their side. And we are struggling to impact the game as much as I would like us to. And again, it's a highlight starting with Newington possession. Again, they've switched it from left to right, keeping the ball very nicely, dropping it back into defence. And again, there is the ball over the top. They suck us in. Right, I'm going to have to do something about it again. The first thing that we're going to do, just to get us through to half-time, is out of possession. We're going to lower the back line, basically, because we're giving them too much space over the top for those balls over the top. But let's see how we're going. A highlight for us, though, which is positive, I hope. We'll see. Devlin on the ball, working on this right-hand side. Are we going to switch the play over to the left? It looks like it's coming. There it is. Tolland on the left-hand side drops it back into McKeever. And we're keeping the possession nicely. But it's at these moments where all of a sudden we just decide to go long instead through the centre point again. And it doesn't work for us. And it's not the instruction that I've got. Yes, we're going more direct, but it should be going out wide. The cross comes in from the corner. We lose out on the first ball. Coleman picks up the loose ball, sends it back in for us. King with a fantastic drive along the floor from this right-hand side of the top of the penalty box. Drove it across the goalkeeper into the far bottom corner. That's a really nice strike. Again, Coleman coming out of the striking role to get involved in the play and help out. And then King gets it out from his feet and just blasts that ball. That's really, really good strike by him. And we are sort of back in the game at 3-2 down with a few minutes of this first half to play. At least we're in touching distance. But that, again, could change here. Newington on that far side. Get a chance with a cross in again. Oh, boy. Our defence is awful. Our team is awful. It's the conclusion I'm coming to. I know that we're at a low level, but I really can't wait to get through to the summer and get a lot of deadwood out of this club and start the rebuild properly, really. We haven't been able to do much so far in terms of really adding to the personnel too much. But this summer feels like it would be a good chance to do so. They're through again and they're in. Oh, this is ridiculous. 5-2 down at half-time is ridiculous. You saw that we won the last match against Banbridge. They were lower than us in the division. I thought it was a perfectly good thing to now maintain the style of play, but it just hasn't worked again today. And the inconsistency in this side is just remarkable in its way. I don't quite know what we're going to do in this second half, really. We're going to leave it through to half-time. We're just going to let it play out and get into half-time. And then we're going to absolutely rip them to shreds in the dressing room because it's not been good enough. But yeah, what I would say is that there is a lot that I need to do with this side to make it my own and to actually start heading in the direction of how I want this team to look in this division. There's no way we're getting promoted this time round. Absolutely no way. And that's right. We need to stay in this division and properly cement ourselves into it and try and move from it. And the way we're going to do that, I think, over the summer, tell me what you think about this in the comments, because the quality of player that is available to us is fairly awful, to be honest. Even if we go out and get new ones in, they're still going to be fairly awful, with all due respect to them all, of course. But what I'm going to try and do is build a team for next season purely around physicals of the players. We're going to see if we can get as much pace into the side as is possible, as much work rate and enthusiasm to get up and down the pitch as possible, etc. And we're just going to have to take the fact that some of the other attributes are not going to be fantastic. But that's the way I'm thinking of going. Would you do it differently? Would you work purely in the mentals, or would you do purely in the technicals, or pick out a couple of key bits in each if you could? Or how would you go about a rebuild like this? Because we are not very good, but we're not going to get much better quickly, it doesn't feel like, because the opportunities to bring new players in, as I've seen in the January window, has been really, really hard. Anyway, we'll sort that out in the summer. But for now, what on earth do we do here? We throw the water bottle. That's what we do. It's what it's there for on an occasion like this where we are performing so badly. So what was that? Get your acts together and start playing football. They seem demotivated. I really don't care about that because they are being really, really bad. So we're going to have to change up the style. So let's go into the Gegenpress and see if in any way for half of a football we can press them in a little bit and see if we can win the ball back better. I don't know what else to do at this point. I mean, I'll change the players a little bit as the second half progresses, but I don't want to do that too early because otherwise we'll come a cropper with an injury or something in the last 15 minutes of the match and not be able to do anything about it. But it's just not working. Lottie, shush, shush, shush. That's my dog for you, having her say on matters. Quite right. I mean, I'm disgruntled as well as she is. You know, we are a team, and she's very, very unhappy with them all, to be honest. And she's expressing that in no uncertain terms. But there we go. We get a chance to cross the ball in, but the cross came into the top of the box, really. It was from deep. We didn't get down the byline and sort that out at all and get it from a better angle. And again, Newington have come back at us down their left-hand side, worked it across the box, but we win the ball back. That's really encouraging sign. And then not so encouraging is the fact that, again, we just boot it clear. There's no structure in terms of who we were aiming at, how we were aiming at it, or even if we were specifically going for something, it didn't work. And that's the level that we're working at. King, down the right-hand side, got a good goal earlier, puts a good ball in. Pomeroy, Coleman worked a ball really nicely through and had a good chance at putting a shot on goal. Does so, and then they clear it, unfortunately, and get it away from danger. 56 minutes on the clock. Again, Newington down the right-hand side. Again, they get to the byline. This time, the defender does deal with it. But you can see they're just a little bit more dynamic somehow in terms of how they're getting their chances and where they're coming from. A good chance for us to work again, though. King down the right-hand side into the box on that far side. Gets the cross in, but puts it back to the top of the box again, rather than across the 6-yard box where a couple of our strikers were. Tried to do something slightly different. We win the ball defensively, keep the highlight going, work it down the left-hand side this time. Tolland on the ball drops it back to keep the possession stats up, which is positive in its way. Where's the ball? There's the ball out wide right to King again. Gets a chance to put the ball in, and that's a really good header at the back post from where the cross came in from Tolland, but couldn't quite get enough power in it at the near post as we were looking at it. And the goalkeeper gets across and stops it. 67 minutes on the clock. We're going to have to make a few personnel changes in a minute. Nobody's really covering themselves in too much glory today, unfortunately. Let's pause it there. 72 minutes on the clock. If we go into our tactics page, you can see the likes of Harkin in central midfield, King on the right, and Pomeroy up top are the only ones that are playing to their level, really. Coleman having a really poor game alongside Pomeroy, so we're going to bring the youngster Mullen in, only 17 years old. Hopefully he can get a goal soon. He's not had one so far this season when he's played, and we need his confidence to raise just a little bit. We're also going to change out midfield. McCallion comes out and Dugan goes in. And we're just going to change that role up a little bit. We're going to play 2 box-to-box midfielders in there, I think, and get them both up and down the pitch for the last little bit of the game. And then we can either take Tolland off on this left-hand side or someone like McKeever at left fullback. But I think we have to make a more offensive change, to be honest. So we'll take Tolland out and put Brennan in down this left-hand side. Those are the changes that we're going to make in terms of personnel. We're going to play on for another few minutes. If it doesn't work in terms of getting us any opportunities, then we'll change up the tactical style again for the last few minutes, potentially, of the match. But we have got a highlight. 73 minutes in, three goals down from the first half, remember. So, I mean, this second half has been really, really quiet in comparison. That's kind of a good thing in its way, but the damage has already been done. We don't really need it to be a quiet second half. We needed to go and dominate it, and we haven't been able to do so. 75 minutes on the clock. We get another highlight for us, working the ball through the centre point and then out to King on the right-hand side. We're going to switch it from right to left, or are we? No, we went back down the right-hand side again. There's a little bit of space for him to exploit, and he gets down to the byline, puts it in, and that's what we're looking for. When they do it... When they do what they're asked to do, we get goals from it. We work down the right-hand side on this occasion, get a little bit of space. He gets all the way to the byline, cuts it across the 6-yard box. Pomeroy works and reacts to it, should I say, quicker than the defenders, gets on the end of it, pokes it home, 5-3. Just keep doing that. That's all I'm wanting them to do. But they just can't, seemingly, with any regularity. And we are 2 goals behind with 10 minutes to play. We've got another highlight, potentially, but we lose the ball. And Newington come back at us through the centre point, working it very nicely, holding on. There was a chance for them to work out to their left-hand side, and we get the ball back ourselves. And Pomeroy, if he wasn't offside in any way, has gone through on one-on-one with the goalkeeper from a brilliant ball over the top. We intercept it from Devlin again at right fullback. King, again, the danger man for us, releases the ball really early over the top for Pomeroy to run onto. I don't think there was an offside there, and I think we've gone back to 5-4 with 9 minutes to play. We're going to leave this as it is. The momentum seems to be in our favour just at the moment, so we're going to let them continue in this vein, and hopefully we can get one more chance and nick a really, really weird 5-5 draw. But the time has gone. The time has ticked through really quickly after that last highlight. We've got a minute left of the match. Surely there's one chance in there. There's a goal clearance from Newington. Can we win the ball? We do. Pomeroy on the ball. Tried to get it out wide to King again on that right-hand side. Doesn't quite make it. Goes back to the Newington goalkeeper. We do win the ball at that point. Devlin again at right fullback. And we get one chance. No, the highlight dies. The highlight goes just as the final whistle. We were working it towards the top of the penalty box. We almost had one more chance at goal. Didn't quite make it. And I'm a little bit disappointed, to say the least. That first half display absolutely destroyed us. It looks like we might be investigating the Gegenpress for the second part of this season as we go into the run-in, just to see if we can get anything from it. Pomeroy and King looked immense today, but other than those two, there's some struggles that we've got around our team just a little bit. King on a 9.7, Pomeroy on a 9.1. If we can get those two to keep performing that way and we can shore up the defence a little bit, maybe there's some points for us on the board soon. But just for now, we're back to losing ways again, and that's not great. So just to close out this episode and figure out what's coming up next, we're back on the schedule page, and I've made a change of decision, to be honest. I was intending just to go straight through to the end of the season for the next episode. We've got half a dozen fixtures to play. Actually, I'm going to chuck another one in there for an episode because I feel like in this run-in, we need to turn around this form. Let's see if we can do that on camera as much as is possible. So we're going to come back and play the Armagh game. 3 games from now, a couple of games in between time against Distillery and Port Stewart. So hopefully we can find a win in there. Distillery are in 7th, Port Stewart top of the table, so that's going to be tricky. We now currently sit in 8th position out of the 11, so we need some points. Can we find any between now and the end of the season? I really hope so. Does our form suggest we will? Not really, but we'll see how we go. We've got to get through to the summer. At this point, that's all I'm really caring about. Get through to the summer and let's see if we can change this up. To do that, we're going to play Armagh next episode. The following episode, we'll play the last game of the season against Moyola Park. So, it's not going very well, is it? I'm trying to put as positive a spin on it as I can, but at the moment, it's not going very well. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. We'll move forward. We'll see what we can do between now and the next episode. Until then, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the run through of this particular first season, even if it's difficult, because this is the sort of season that we have. just to find a way of getting to where we want to be eventually. It's going to take a little bit of time. Anyway, let's stop blathering on a bit. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the United City community. Click a like button on this particular episode. That will help me get more seen by more people. Check out all the links in the description below to all my social medias and all that kind of stuff. Come and catch me over on twitch.tv/the United City FM. Until next episode, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.